It happened 11 years ago when I was still 27 and she was about 30. We had been together for 8 years, as live in P. Now wife Carla is 41. We've been together 19 years, married for 11 years. We have 2 more kids now, and 8 years, so please bear with me. Those first 8 years living together we had our ups and downs but still stuck and fought on ship and we were very close. Before I met Carla, I came from a 4-year relationship where my ex cheated on me. Carla also had a boyfriend for a month when we met. They didn't really have the chance to be together since she left was really no connection between them. I found it intriguing because she accepted me while still not ending it with HM because of me. It was hard for me to trust her, but eventually, I gave her all my trust. Especially when we were already, was nothing to worry about regarding her loyalty since she was busy taking care of our child, and was a very caring again. I stopped working to finish my last year in college. We decided to have my mother take care of our kid while S was a little far. So when we took our son to her, it took us a day to travel to her place. We stayed for a month with M. Weenus. She worked while I studied. After 6 months we decided to get our son back. This time I went alone since C coming back with my son. Carla was left alone in our apartment the whole time. During those times, we were already out, and have a drink after work sometimes. This led to fights between me and her because she became entitled and ivities, but she always said she was with friends and that her cousins were with them so she was safe. Some of her C called and texted each other daily, so there was nothing unusual to think about. When my son and I got back, I thought she just missed me during the 3 weeks I was away, so I was happy to indulge her. A month later, I heard H. I saw that it was from someone from her work, and she texted back saying, "Stop texting me here, my live in peace," and felt like there was a hole. It was hard to breathe. She hurriedly came and tried to get the phone, but I took it out of texting about me. She said he was nothing, and that she needed to go to her sister's house to have her hair done for take her phone. When she left, I replied back to the number and received a reply as well. Surprisingly, it was the girl his phone open as well. She told me that her partner in Carla might be having an affair at work. She had been suspect morning confirmed some of her suspicions. I asked if it was okay to meet her in person so I could read the text me, sister's house. She was there having her hair done with her sister. I told Carla I was meeting someone and that she AP's girlfriend, and she let me read all the text messages between Carla and her AP. His girlfriend also told me they're him with Carla drinking with friends and having a great time dancing. She said they looked like more than friends. Thaw as the hardest blow. I was not home during that time. It was within the 3 weeks I was away with my son at my girlfriend said she confronted Carla at work, but Carla said nothing happened that night and that they were just frying ab. The girlfriend didn't believe it, of course, and neither did I. After that I thanked her and apologized for what happened. He came back from the company Christmas party. It was an emotional time. I asked her to tell me the truth, but she got involved in this mess. I was furious and already thinking of leaving at that time, but for some reason we kept insisting that nothing happened with that guy, saying he just dropped her off at our gate and left right away. And move on. I forced myself to forget about it and tried to get it out of my mind completely. Around that time, I got at her job for another year before finally resigning. She told me she never spoke to him again at work after that incident. I believed her, especially since I had access to all her devices during that time, and she stopped going out to drink. The guy died in a motorcycle accident. Carla didn't show any signs of being affected by the news. So finally we had M read that year, and everything seemed normal again. Sometimes when we fought I would bring up the issue with her. Told me to let the man rest in peace. A year later she got pregnant again with our youngest. Everything was running up the topic again. She got really mad and asked when I would stop asking about it. I felt there was something. Omion saw them arrive at our apartment that night and that the guy went inside with her with his motorcycle. Parked. I just lied to see her reaction. When I told her this, I noticed she was taken aback and immediately asked who told M. Borhood, whom she didn't know. She got defensive again, admitting she let him inside, but only to get a glass of wait. Asked how long he stayed, and she said just a couple of minutes. I told her she was lying, repeating that my friend say entillating. I asked her again if they did it that night, and she denied it. She confessed they kissed and did some fondly. Asked again if they had sex, and she told me he tried to, but she refused because she thought about me. She was abtified. We went in circles and she kept denying it. Then I had an idea. I told her I believed her and accepted what she was making me the most miserable man in the world. I told her that God knows my pain and how she lied too by lying to my face in my most vulnerable state. I teared up a little and she looked me straight in the eyes. I added, now. I promised to forgive her if she just laid it all out. Then she cried and finally confessed that they did have sex. Long it lasted, and she told me only about 3-5 minutes. He didn't finish because she realized what was happening. She told him to leave and he did. She cried and took the longest shower of her life, feeling dirty and like she was though she initially refused by kissing and fondling her. He told her I was far away, and no one would know if no aggressive, and she felt fear about what he might do if she kept refusing. She didn't know why she gave in, but felt it out of her mind and thought of me. She said she didn't feel anything when he was doing it because he was really smile up a little. She just told me she shut him out and thought about me the whole time. But when she realized he wasn't turned my world upside down. But I kept my promise to forgive her. We decided to stop the conversation, and when she feared her confession had changed the way I looked at her and that I would leave her. I reassured her step by step, but my mind was about to explode with a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. She then proceeded to sleep well that night, my mind racing with doubts and fears. The following morning I found it impossible to shake of her. The image of her betrayal resurfaced, gnawing at my peace. After much contemplation, I decided to confront Carla stuck to her original story that he didn't finish, repeatedly saying sorry for what she did. She was willing to do. Oration was palpable, and she poured her heart out, telling me how she had been suffering all those years. She lied to Oz. The guilt was eating her from the inside. She explained that the reason she lied for 11 years was because she dict it would have on our kids. She knew how deeply she had disrespected and destroyed my trust when she let him in, insisting it was just a mistake, something she didn't plan. According to her, he had taken advantage of her weakness, that it was a pure mistake. Carla even confessed that she had wanted to tell her sister about it, and considered sided against it, out of fear that I would find out. I listened to her intently, trying to process everything she said. Desperate to believe her completely. The trust that once formed the foundation of our relationship now felt irreparably cracked into weeks. And though Carla continued to express her remorse and sought ways to make amends, the way the woman I thought I knew with the one who had betrayed me. My mind oscillated between moments of sympathy. Venice seemed long and uncertain, with every step forward shadowed by the haunting memories of that night. I asked. She told me they were always together at work due to their tasks, and he showed her interest by always giving her a little feeling for him, but not enough to say she loved him. She just liked the attention and company he provided. Doing okay for the kids and decided to keep things the same. But I told her I was still deciding what would happen if she confessed. but I couldn't. I told her I was only human and thought it would be easy, but I realized I couldn't faux sleeping where we gave each other time to speak and share our thoughts without interruption. The other would share their reflections on the thoughts from the previous night. The absolute rule was to be completely heard, to give me a timeline of their interactions, and I just listened. She shared everything she could remember, the Lun more. She even shared that he had asked her to leave me and be with him. I also shared my thoughts and feelings that were uncovered that hadn't been shared on D-Day. I experienced deep hurt episodes where I felt very angry, as also relieved that it brought light to what happened. I no longer imagined things and knew the details. I made sure, and she was very supportive. I am now starting to accept her little by little. She agreed to all my conditions and follow us. I thought her pride and ego would get in the way, but she endured it. She said the only thing she wouldn't be able her. Right now there are still ups and downs, but I no longer mind staying with her. I learned to look at her again, Bunite. Is this normal, even though the AP has been dead for a long time? I still feel jealous and hurt because of him. I owe what my wife and her AP did that night. Is there still a chance for me to fully forgive her eventually, for all the thing owe you? I'll appreciate all your comments and thoughts. Despite the turmoil and confusion, we persisted in our nightly schnight. I would brace myself for the waves of pain and anger, but also for the flickers of understanding and connection, the depth of my own vulnerability, as well as the resilience of our bond. We discussed not only the affair, but our relationship in a way we never had before. I found myself grappling with a profound sense of loss, not just of the I thought I knew. She too mourned the person she had been before her mistake, and expressed genuine remorse. On, without defensiveness, began to chip away at the wall I had built around my heart. We started to rebuild our the same as before, but hoping it could be something new and stronger. She took proactive steps to rebuild trust, checking in with me throughout the day. Her actions spoke volumes about her commitment to repairing our marriage once had. The journey was far from easy, and there were days when the weight of the betrayal seemed unbearable. Connection. We found solace in the small gestures, holding hands during a movie, cooking dinner together, laughing at her in the first place, and gave me hope that we could forge a new path forward. Forgiveness remained an elusive to understand that forgiveness was not a destination but a process. A series of choices to let go of the anger and and that it was okay to have setbacks along the way. What mattered was our commitment to keep moving forward. The second chance was not for anyone else to decide. It was a deeply personal choice, one that depended on our I did know was that she was making every effort to prove her sincerity and to rebuild the trust she had shattered. Indeed, to navigate the complexities of our relationship, I held on to the hope that with time and patience, we could emerge. 8-1 This is just an update regarding my previous post. Once again, I appreciate all your comments and suggestions. Language, so please bear with me. We are still working to reconcile, and I can say that time does really play a huge at another chance, but with some changes in terms of our setup. We agreed that I have one pass to have another see that she is not serious about this reconciliation. The only condition is that she needs to know about it. She is now trying to hit on her at work or anywhere, in any way, so that we can fix it early. She will need to avoid any issues or her of something, at all costs, because she only has a second chance and no option for a third. She is always doing very remorseful, and regrets the mistakes she made in our relationship. We continue to live as normally as possible. Remember, it's not as difficult to handle anymore compared to the days just after D-Day, but I still let her know how to help me and us cope with all of this. And she has no complaints except for one thing: we are the only ones who mine knows. I believe the root cause of her cheating on me is her selfishness, and I want to test her by making her Dion. Based on what I know of her, she values her reputation a lot with our friends and family. She doesn't want her confess her infidelity to both our parents only, and to ask them to keep all of this just between us. We will also ask her confess to our parents only and not to other members of our families and friends, because her reaction to this our parents would know about her mistake was very real. This is the most difficult thing I've asked of her, enting us to keep this a secret and deal with it on our own. But I insisted that I needed to see her prove that this is still her selfishness the main enemy. I wanted us to beat it by making her do the ultimate sacrifice for me. Her reputat decided to make her confess to both our parents to save her dignity with others, since we are reconciling. And saying if she can make this ultimate sacrifice, which she considers the ultimate sacrifice. She eventually agreed, and just first. Then once done, she will also do the same with mine. I told her that once she did this, I would consider it a told her that once she did this, I would lose my past to have another relationship, and would just focus on her again. His mess she made. Only one thing I made clear to her: I can forgive her, but I will never forgive what she did, because relationship. I just want to know, for those of you who decided to reconcile and did it successfully, what is the best worth another chance? I considered a lot of things, like our kids, our life together for 19 years, though more than that she is remorseful and regretted her mistake 11 years ago. And that she devoted her life to me and our family. We are negative for any STDs. Though she lied for 11 years, I believe she only did it to keep our family whole. It sucks of this post. Time really does play a big factor in how you deal with things. Life is a lot bigger than focusing only on encounter failures, and starting new is not always the best option for everyone. My heart goes out to all those Betra, and I want you to know it's okay to cry. I hope we all find the peace we are looking for, and will be able to give our reconciliation efforts. We attend couples therapy weekly, and she also goes to individual therapy sessions to address and agreements to rebuild trust and ensure transparency. These include regular check-ins, sharing daily schedules and concerns. Additionally, we have both committed to spending more quality time together as a family, and as a core bond, and create positive memories. I have also started engaging in activities that bring me joy and help me mana friends who support me. I want to emphasize that this journey of reconciliation is not easy, and there are still moments we have made and the potential for a healthier, more honest relationship moving forward. I am cautiously balance between guarding my heart and allowing myself to trust and love again. Lastly, I want to extend my gratitude you have provided. It has been invaluable during this challenging time, and I hope to continue sharing updates on that you are not alone. And seeking support from others can make a significant difference in your healing journey in their own paths toward recovery and reconciliation. Update 2. More than 3 months after D-Day, she has Ed in her. But it's obvious that they both want us to work it out and not separate because of the kids. I am satisfied. I am confident about my parents' side, since I was the one who opened up to them, giving them the summary of the apology, and advised her not to do it again, and that she would need to earn my trust again. They also advised not side. I have doubts if she really shared all the necessary details of the affair with them. I was not beside her when all joined me afterward, and my wife told me that she had already confessed to them. I was waiting for their reaction. I'd feel uncomfortable discussing it because it involves their daughter, but it would have been better if they did. No why thing, including the part about sleeping with the AP. She told me she did, and that they were shocked, and asked he at the time. She said she answered that she didn't know why she did it. She told me they advised her the same thing. Kids. I thought things would get better after this, but I'm still unsatisfied. Though this added a huge plus toward our her, especially if there are triggers. I still have my pass and will use it without her knowing if needed. I also applied die pass 3. Patience, owning her bad decision by confessing to our parents. And financial support responsibility, her full honesty, her initiating and actively doing her part toward reconciliation, and her overall attitude toward me aeons while maintaining the first 3, then I can say she is truly remorseful. She has made some additional confessions about that night. The most significant change was when she confessed that the AP might have unloaded a little and anticipated it, kicking him off as quickly as she could. She was very mad because he really did want to finish inside he's on birth control pills at that time. She explained that she has nothing more to hide and is bringing it all out in the just a little, it doesn't matter to me anymore because it hurts just the same. She is really sorry and regrets her deceasee and will try to remember other things she might have forgotten and disclose them to me. She really wants to pass the F right now. I am still not okay. There are so many triggers and it sucks. I have no direction and don't know if our recount how they would handle it if we separated and just co-parented them. It breaks me to think about my children, ESPTs, and they would cry because we would already be a broken family. The strain of dealing with this situation is immy of normalcy for the kids, while grappling with my own feelings of betrayal and mistrust. My wife is making an effort. Being committed to making things right. Her additional confessions, though painful to hear, give me a sliver of hope that she is to rebuild our relationship. Despite this hope, I remain deeply conflicted. The constant reminders of her infidelity emotional toll is exhausting, and I sometimes feel like I'm barely holding it together. My friends and family offer suppo. I want to believe that we can overcome this, but the road ahead seems long and uncertain. The kids are my anchor. Penis are my top priorities, and I dread the thought of how a separation would affect them. I see their smiles in LA world. They deserve a stable and loving home. And I desperately want to provide that for them. But can I do that with NGS new challenges and decisions? I take it one step at a time, hoping that clarity will come with time. Whether we ensures the well-being of our children and my own peace of mind. It's a delicate balance, and I pray that whatever update after 2 years. Am I in some kind of recovery phase or is there no more hope for us? My wife physically until live in partners with our firstborn. D-Day was almost 2 years ago. We'd been together for 20 years, married for RS. I was lied to for 10 years before she finally confessed. By the way, the AP has been deceased for 10 years now able to deal with the situation, knowing that the guy is no longer here. I set myself a time limit for reconciliation, with a pass. But I didn't really use that pass. At first I thought of giving it 3-5 years to see if reconciliation is successful in reconciliation efforts. Almost 2 years since D-Day, and it's still up and down for me. Now, I'm thinking of why. There are days I am okay, but there are also days I hate my situation a lot. For now, I no longer see myself growing and wife stuff. I make sure we look okay to our kids. We are intimate, but for me it's just satisfying a normal need for am thinking of using my past to get back at her. But I haven't acted on it yet. This is probably just a vent. I am not Sui for her has gradually diminished over time. I no longer find her attractive in any aspect. I easily get attracted to Oth's situation will be appreciated. Am I just running into a phase or something?